Okay, I'm going to try this video here. It's always an awkward moment when I first start a video. And sometimes I'll be like, or like look at the camera and just kind of laugh at myself and think, what are you here to do now? But each day I'm bombarded with all these ideas and thoughts. And in the past I've wanted to share them more. And I find myself sharing less and less of my deepest thoughts. I want to, and I think all day while I'm doing things around the house and maintaining this and that, thinking, okay, I'm going to make a video later and try to explain to people, why this stuff's important to me. And then I either decide that folks won't understand, not because they're not capable, but rather because maybe my own delusion, or maybe some of the things that I've found necessarily aren't accurate or true. Maybe I have to do more research on something, or maybe it's something that just has very strong opinions and I'd just rather not even talk about, such as bringing up politics and religion, although I consistently do so, because they're two of the areas where people tend to attach themselves to a system that helps them see the world easier for them. But my entire life is based on philosophy, and it's my goal, or rather has been my long-term goal, if I had any goal, because often it's hard to set something that you actually want to accomplish if you don't know what the result's going to be. And with philosophy or alchemy, which are intertwined, the end result is not something that you can grasp or hang on to. It's where you start to realize that science falls short of explaining many of these things. That chemistry is, merely a modern takeoff of alchemy, but leaving out one component, such as, perhaps, mixing metals under the full moon, or under a certain planetary alignment, is supposed to have a better effect. If one thing like that, let's say, is left out, then a scientific experiment may consider something or a study to be invalid. In other words, if people knew in the history of a certain way to do something, and one component of that is left out, say astrology related, which is why I said the planets, then science will deem it to be inaccurate, because science doesn't believe in astrology. Modern chemistry doesn't believe in astrology. So I didn't really want to get into, the what-ifs about, astrology and the planets and everything, but rather make a point that there are many different conditions that have to be met in order to accomplish transmutation. And when I'm talking about alchemy, I'm using that metaphor of the mercury into gold, but I mean it quite literally and figuratively. By learning about the metals, by learning about how these things are done, and certain conditions which have to be present for a certain growth to take place, or metal to take a certain form, by understanding those, you can understand how we can anneal ourselves, and what our sulfur is, what's our brimstone and our mercury, how do we relate to the earth, how do our metals mix and coagulate, what is our quintessence, the fifth element, if you will, water, fire, air, earth, and the quintessence. And that quintessence is what everybody's seeking, the ether, the other realm, and in science we call this dark matter. Or maybe it's dark energy, or maybe it's both one and the same.